So, I was watching the Mavs game and I saw this. And then I saw this. And that's when it hit me. After all those seasons with the whole Luka Porzingis duo, then Jalen Brunson and Luka, sometimes you got the Luka, the one-man show, the destruction crew. That got me thinking, is this the best the Mavs have looked so far? Well, first, let's look at Christian Wood, what he brings to this team. Over his career, Christian Wood, he averages 14 points per game, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. Over his career, he also shoots 38% from 3. By the way, he is 6'10", so he's kind of like the perfect stretch big man that fits with Luka, that spaces the floor, that does a little bit of everything as well. He can shoot the 3. Last season, he shot 39% from 3. Last season, he also shot 40% on catch and shoot 3s, which is pretty much perfect in this Luka-centric offense. Last season, Wood, he also averaged 17.9, almost 18 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1 block. So he can really thrive at different parts of the game. Rebounding is going to be super impactful to close out defensive possessions for the Mavs. The Mavs are going to need that if they want to be able to get stops in the playoffs. He can protect the rim as well, a little bit, but definitely he averages 1 block, so he's definitely proficient in that. But the fact that he can also switch out onto the perimeter, guard the pick and roll, that's something that Porzingis never even figured out well enough. So he can stretch the floor. Last season, he shot 73% at the rim. So he provides that shooting presence outside. He provides that interior pressure, that interior scoring as well. So far with the Mavs, he's coming off the bench, sure, but he's been producing like crazy. Over the first 3 games, he's averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. If you want some context to how his first couple games with the Mavs went, check out this tweet from Kevin O'Connor. So Christian Wood, over 49 minutes, he scored 50 points. The Mavs have an offensive rating of 147 in just 31 minutes that he shared the floor with Luka. How about this? Wood, he's averaging 5 more points per game than any teammate Luka has had in his career. So Christian Wood is technically the best teammate Luka's ever had. So he's fitting right in, but the fact that he's coming off the bench, this could be like a early narrative for the Sixth Man of the Year award. I think he probably should be the favorite depending on how this continues. Well, if we're talking about the Sixth Man of the Year award, one thing that's definitely going to come into play is whether the Mavs have to be winning games for that. So what Christian Wood bring to the Mavs so that they can actually win more games? 3-point shooting first, like this.
Phoenix down by 1, Wood. That's what he does.
Like this.
Wood, little step back, high arcing 3.
Like this.
You're right. That sounded like
He brings interior scoring, like this.
Wood isolated against Gray. Good help, but it didn't matter. Chris
like this.
Dinwiddie on the baseline drive, great cut and flush by Wood.
Self-creation, like this.
Close to 40. And the dog got close to
like this.
He's not going to do anything.
nice screen.
He's doing stuff like that.
Don't ho-hum about
Rebounding, like this.
There's Doncic around the dribble handoff. Misses the shot. Wood inside, battling. Oh!
Defense, like this.
Making him work super duper hard on this possession. Here's Kane fighting, swatted by Wood. Shot clock, Santi Aldama. Oh, he looks up and sees it in time. He did get it on.
Pick and roll, like this.
I would just go in there and I would put on old clips of Beverly Hills Cop, try to get their mind off of it. Here's Wood finishing.
Playing with Luka, he thrives too, like
what
this.
It looks like. That's the approach that they took. Good pass.
He can even play without Luka, like
It's
this.
going to be important, and they've got to take a jump and continue to improve handling the basketball and being playmakers.
And he's got a touch of playmaking as well, which I didn't really see before in the past. So you never know. This might actually be getting unlocked now that he's on the Mavs. So now that we know what Christian Wood brings to the team, how do the Mavs actually now compare to the rest of the West? The Mavs, they look like they've improved in all the key areas that championship caliber teams have. They have a top 10 defense, a top 10 offense through the first 10 days of the season. Last season, they had the 7th ranked defense. So I think a lot of this credit should be given to Jason Kidd, and he has not been given that credit yet. He's done a great job especially with the Mavs defense. He was smart enough to let just Luka just run the offense, but the consistent improvement on defense, that's what he should be getting credited for. That is what took the Mavs to the conference finals last season. There's a reason why they were stuck in the first round over and over. Of course, they were playing Kawhi and Paul George, sure. But more importantly, it's the defense. That improvement is what got them all the way to the conference finals. And if the Mavs have a great season, Jason Kidd should, in my opinion, be considered in the Coach of the Year conversation. Alright, so if we're comparing the Mavs to the rest of the Western Conference, the top teams they will be competing with, obviously number one is going to be the Warriors. The Warriors, they have a more proven core. They got decent depth. It's tough to see the Mavs beating the Warriors in a 7-game series. It's kind of tough, but of course, I'll actually watch more Mavs games, let the season play on and see just how good this team can be. But it's tough right at the moment to say that they will beat the Warriors. How about the comparing them to the Clippers? When it comes to the Clippers, I just think the Clippers have too much defensive versatility. So much so that they can stop the rest of the role players on the Mavs. I think that they would be able to stop the Mavs in terms of their role players like Dorian Finney-Smith, Kleba, Christian Wood. I definitely do not think they have a answer for Luka, but they can just let Luka score 50 and shut down the rest of the role players. That is so much more doable. I do not think that the Mavs defense, on the other hand, can do the same thing. I do not think that they can actually stop the Clippers offense. The Clippers role players are much higher caliber, much more veteran, much more experienced. So I do think that the Clippers defense is going to be able to stop the Mavs as a whole, not Luka, but as a whole, whereas the Mavs defense probably will not be able to stop the Clippers. But we'll have to see. The Mavs have never really had a defensive player like Christian Wood that they can kind of stick on Kawhi Leonard or on a Paul George. And, Luka does kind of look like a freaking god against the Clippers. So that's going to be interesting. I want to see. We'll see. How about any other teams in the West? The Grizzlies, please. Luka owned them by 20 the other night. The Suns, Luka is their daddy. Oh my god, that is real life bullying. And we're all accomplices. We're just watching this man bully an entire franchise. Who else? The Timberwolves? Please, don't make me laugh. So the Mavs aren't exactly far off. Things could kind of go their way by luck. Injuries could be going on for other teams. Injuries are also, of course, kind of going up more and more frequently each season, especially to more key, more star players. But on the other hand, yeah, man, Luka's the damn truth. Literally, he's the best offensive player I have probably ever seen. And I grew up watching LeBron. I grew up watching Kevin Durant. The Mavs got to the Western Conference Finals with Luka and Jalen Brunson as their second best player. So the fact that Christian Wood can also do so much more things that the Mavs actually needed last season, their ceiling this season is so much higher than what it was last season. And one thing that's kind of in my mind, we'll see how this goes. We might be looking at like a similar season to 2007 LeBron, who was pretty much so unstoppable that he scored 25 straight points in the Eastern Conference Finals. He also dragged those Cavs, those nasty doo-doo Cavs, all the way to the finals. And let's be honest, Luka does look that freaking dominant. Let me know what you think. Alright,